A very warm welcome to our distinguished speakers in Europe and here in Japan, and to our worldwide audience. Welcome. My name is Iris Witzorek, and it's a great pleasure for me to moderate this session on Horizon Europe and Moonshot around the same orbit, synergies between the EU and the Japanese programs. It's a great title, which evokes high expectations on all of us. So we would be very delighted if our session can contribute to further close collaborations between the EU and Japan. Japan and the EU are close partners in research and innovation, based on a long-standing and very trustful relationships. So in 2019 marked already the 10th anniversary of the signing of the Science and Technology Agreement between the EU and Japan. On 26 May this year, Naokazu Takemoto, Japan's Minister of State for Science and Technology Policy, and Maria Gabriel, European Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education and Youth, signed a letter of intent on strengthening cooperations, thus reaffirming the importance of EU-Japan collaboration in science, technology and innovation. Exploring synergies between Moonshot and Horizon Europe, the new funding programs in Japan and in Europe respectively, are highlighted in this letter of intent. So our session is thus a wonderful opportunity to think about how we can move forward together in concrete terms. Therefore, dear speakers, please kindly support us by giving as much practical input as possible on where Horizon Europe and the Moonshot program are on, and not only around, the same orbit. So what are emergent needs that can be addressed together? How to implement joint efforts that will make a difference? Unfortunately, our schedule is very tight. So we have only 4 to 5 minutes for each speaker, and only, everything runs smoothly, 8 minutes Q&A in the end. Nevertheless, let's have an exciting session, moving us on the same orbit. So it's a great honor for me that, for all of us, that Japan's Vice Minister for Innovation Policy, Mr. Koichi Akaishi, gives us the pleasure to start our session with his opening speech. Please, Vice Minister, the virtual floor is.
Thank you for, Iris, thank you for introduction. This is Koichi Akaishi, Vice Minister for Innovation in Japan. First of all, I would like to thank European Commission for arranging this very timely session on Horizon Europe and Moonshot projects in European Research and Innovation Days. I understand that they are exactly on, not around, the same orbit. So that's why I just would like to present our experience in terms of Moonshot and share our difficulties with you. As all of us know, Moonshot Research and Development Program is setting ambitious goals and presenting a bold and novel approach or pathway to produce outcome, and then tackling concrete R&D agenda. We, Japan, decided to embark on this magnificent project about 3 years ago, taking into account serious challenges Japan and the world face today. Now I bitterly recognize that making Moonshot project is very much easier said than done. You would easily imagine how challenging to create this process. And I am sure that to design Moonshot project itself is Moonshot. For 3 years, we have been meandering, I would say meandering through topsy-turvy discussion. And I'm sure Take-san is also on the same orbit, so he might meander like me. Since we have decided to create this program in 2018, the process to conceive of the program management and Moonshot goals has involved many people with different expertise from within and outside Japan through the discussion in the Visionary Council meetings and also Moonshot International Symposium and so on. In this context, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to Commissioner Gabriel, former Commissioner Moedas, and Mr. Lamy, and also Dr. Burcher of European Commission for taking part in the Moonshot International Symposium in December last year. The most difficult and critical issues has been how to set the ambitious goals. What is global challenges? how Japan would be able to contribute to the challenges. They are the questions. Is it inspiring enough? Is it imaginative enough? Or is it credible enough? And so on. Based on these discussions, we have finally decided 7 goals this year. They are, one is freedom from limitation of body and brain. Second is ultra early disease prediction and intervention. And third is human-like AI robots. And fourth is sustainable perfect resource circulation. And fifth is fault-tolerant universal quantum computer. And sixth is a sustainable global food supply. And seventh is 100 years old healthy life for everyone. They are 7 goals at this moment. I think that time will prove whether our goal setting would be functional, or too broad, too vague, or too narrow. Let's see. Then we face another problem, time span issues. Most of the goals are targeting 2050, but 2050 is often too far future for a concrete R&D to aim at. So we also have an intermediate target for 2030, but this target is not so ambitious, so that's a kind of a conflict. Then how to proceed this program? Selected targets are so challenging that it could not be achieved by limited researchers. Thus, we have introduced special project director system, the role of whom is not only promote individual R&D, but also look around global R&D arena and present a proper pathway towards social implementation, involving policymakers, bureaucrats, and ordinary people, and finally achieve that target actually. So each goal is assigned to a program director, and then he makes public calls to recruit researchers from not only Japan and also abroad as project managers, and builds a diversified portfolio of projects that have the potential to spur real progress. And research project will support it for up to, at this moment, 10 years. Then, problem is failure. How far do we admit failure? And how can we minimize their role? For ambitious goals to be challenged, we should accept some failures, but the failure must be minimized. Thus, we should develop R&D portfolio, which might be similar to startup investment portfolio. And also, how we encourage spin-offs is another matter. Failure might not be a failure from another point of view. So if it could be contributed to some other purpose, it could be a spin-off. Now I'd like to present a little bit about current situation and further development. So far, project directors have been decided early this year, and most project managers for Moonshot goals have been selected this month. A portfolio of each Moonshot goal is currently being built, and the detailed research content is going to be opened once it is prepared. Some of actual research projects will start within this year. Next step is that we considered continual discussion on latest challenges and setting targets thereof would be very important in order to sustain motivation for research mechanism. Thus, COVID-19 pandemic and its impact have forced us to create new Moonshot goals aimed at tackling the challenges of our post-crisis society and economy. So we are at this moment holding a call for the youth-focused younger people, youth-focused teams to create new Moonshot goal candidates. The brainstorming team will engage in a feasibility study, international workshop, and initiative report preparation to draw out the ideas of new Moonshot goals. A selection of new Moonshot goals will be conducted next summer. So before closing my remark, I would like to emphasize the importance of international collaboration like EU and Japan. A global level ambitious goal will never be achieved without gathering global wisdom. In May this year, as Iris said, Commissioner Gabriel and former Minister Takemoto signed a letter of intent, including the strengthening Moonshot and Horizon collaboration. Thank you, Pakistan, for this collaboration, I would say, if you are there. And we seriously look forward to promoting and strengthening our cooperation in the future. It is necessary to promote concrete collaboration, and it is expected for the researchers research challenges similar research subjects in Horizon Europe to collaborate with Moonshot projects in such forms as trainings or collaborative research or a more comprehensive partnership. We also expect participation of European researchers or as a performer or principal investigator. I expect this significant session today works as a catalyst for both of us to step forward towards next dimension for our future cooperation. Thank you very much.
Dear Vice Minister Akaishi, thank you so much. Indeed, it's really, really crucial how to set ambitious goals and how to achieve them, how to implement them. So it's now a great honor that on the European side, Jean-Éric Paquet, Director General for Research and Innovation of the European Commission, will deliver his opening speech. So please, Director General Paquet, the virtual floor is yours.
Iris, thank you very much. Minister Akaichi, it's a pleasure to see you again. At a distance a little bit, but we are very closely together. I'm really delighted, and I'm also delighted to welcome you in our delegation. So greetings to my colleagues and to Ambassador Flor. Hamaguchi-san, I'm also delighted that you are with us today. We discussed this idea of trying to bring the Horizon Europe missions and the Moonshot missions of Japan together in a very, very concrete manner. And this will happen this morning. So I'm really, really delighted that the session is taking place. And I would like to say that I am very impressed by the way the organizers on both sides for the session have found a great title, Moonshots and Horizon Europe on the same orbit. I mean, this is so smart, and this is really what we now need to try to do. And Akaishi-san, you already mentioned the letter of intent. I think we have here the platform to bring together the missions on the Moonshot side and on Horizon Europe as closely together as possible. You were quite a bit ahead of us in Japan. We participated in your seminar in December. We now, I hope, caught up to an extent. The Horizon Europe missions are now really here and there, where they were handed over yesterday to the European Commission. They are very, very concrete missions where research and innovation will support the delivery of outcomes in society, of a public good in society. And I think this is really an ambition and an approach connecting research and innovation with public policies, which we share. And this is where I think that connecting our research efforts can have a major impact, of course, for Europe and Japan, Japanese people and European people, but I think also beyond our cooperation on a more global scale in areas like soil, climate, which we will discuss, and of course cities, which we will discuss this morning. I'm very keen to hear our mission board members and also the Moonshot leaders in Japan. So I stop here, echoing Minister Akaishi what you said. I'm very much looking forward to see these missions coming together and really making a deep difference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Director General Paquet. Yes, connecting concrete missions on the same orbit is what we are all longing for. So with this, thank you very much again to Europe, to Director General Paquet. And we would like to move on now to our first session on how to address common challenges together. So now we can go a little bit more in depth. So we have 3 speakers for the first part of our session. So 2 from the European side and 1 speaker from Japan. Our first speaker is Paulo Ferrao, board member of the Climate Neutral and Smart Cities Mission Board. Dear Paulo, let me ask you the questions. What are your suggestions where and how Japan and the EU can jointly tackle common challenges?
Well, good morning. So let me say that the mission on 100 climate neutral cities by 2030 by and for the citizen is intended to transform these cities into experimentation and innovation hubs for all cities in the world, where technologies will be used and integrated by the citizen to improve their quality of life, promoting innovation while reducing dramatically their carbon footprint. It is very clear that the main obstacle to climate transition is not the lack of climate-friendly and smart technology, but the capacity to implement them in an integrated way across Europe, across the world. And the present silo-based form of governance, designed and developed for traditional city operations and services, cannot drive an ambitious climate transition. So this requires a holistic approach supported by urban development digital twin technologies that simulate the impact of introducing smart systems and data platforms in the different aspects of life, such as in home automation, to make use of artificial intelligence in managing energy demand in order to align it with renewable energies availability, including the charging opportunities for the electrical vehicles, providing net zero energy buildings and mobility systems, or in integrating waste processing technologies that transform our waste in valuable products, promoting the circular economy at the level of our neighborhoods, or in monitoring or taking care of our aging population. And the capacity of the citizen to integrate technologies that serve his desire of well-being will turn each one of us in agents of transformation and economic recovery. But this requires testing and demonstration at the city level. And here we have the 100 pilot cities in the EU. All of this requires innovation and it requires research that will greatly benefit from closer EU-Japan cooperation towards technological development, but also for prompting cooperation amongst the pilot projects in the cities. Well, finally, and as a special mention of interest, I would like to flag the citizens' involvement. As I called upon earlier, and also as reflected by Director General Paquet, citizens matter because missions or moonshot are about involving them as much as about technologies. And this is particularly true on issues such as aging in cities. And Europe and Japan could definitely work together on this, as this constitutes a rapidly upcoming challenge that we are all facing. In this context, I would see as an excellent outcome of this event, first, the establishment of a meeting between the mission board and Japanese officials to deepen the design of this cooperation. And second, that the EU and that the Japanese authorities that are here so well represented could prepare a twinning mechanism to promote institutional networking between cities in Europe and in Japan in selected topics of their interest. In the twinning mechanism, activities like staff exchanges, experts visits, workshops, or outreach could be supported. I believe that this cooperation can help us promoting a more sustainable world, especially in linking Japan in Europe, which both have traditions and shared values at the heart of any type of missions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Paulo, also for seeing such great opportunities and joint collaboration with between you and Japan, and also putting citizens in the center. So we need smart citizens in Europe, in Japan, and jointly collaborating on the tackling issues we face today. Thank you very much. Our second speaker is Michinari Hamaguchi, President of the Japan Science and Technology Agency, JST. So, dear Hamaguchi-sensei, yes. From the perspective of JST, in which key technologies and research areas do you see possible synergies between Japan and the EU? And how, I have the second part for the question, how can cooperations be expanded in concrete terms, like Paulo said, like maybe twinning or co-funding? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me opportunity to talk. And at JST, we are managing 4 moonshot goals, as already Akashi-san introduced. And among these, one possible project is early disease prevention and intervention. This can be correlated with cancer. And this one is most promising. And another one is AI and robotics. It might be correlated with city or citizen people. And another one, overcoming the limitation of body, brain, space, and time by use of robotics. Now, this is also correlated with this in city. Yeah, I think so. And besides these major moonshot goals, we also started new program called the Millennial Program, as Akashi-san already talked. It's a unified program to brainstorm one more moonshot goals. The overall management of this program is in the hands of four remarkable visionary leaders. One is Amano, he's a Nobel laureate. Another one is Mr. Watanabe, he's a former president of Toyota. These guys and lady will lead this project, and we will announce now we are accepting application from teams of young people to make a future society. We accept a new idea and promising project from young people. As you may agree, old men like me might be considered wise, but we need the bold and disruptive ideas, younger generation to overcome the challenge of 2050. And of course, emerging disease like COVID-19 is also included in this project. And we can collaborate because we just accept a new idea, new proposal. So we can accept a wide range of projects. And we also request the diversity in team. So we need collaboration with European researchers, and also we can accept any idea you can propose, and we can collaborate. And one more point I want to clarify is the method, how we can collaborate. Here, I would like to introduce two methods for cooperation. The first one is co-funding type collaboration. This means that JST and corresponding funding agencies in a partner countries both provide research fund to their respective researchers. We start similar type of funding, similar type of project, and collaborate with each other. This can be used for joint research or training activity, such as exchange, expert visit, training, and workshops. And second one is direct funding by JST. This means that JST is the sole fund, and we hence provide cross-border funding. And we are keen to explore both these types of cooperation so that we can involve as many international collaborators as possible. These are ideas we're now discussing. Looking to the future cooperation with Horizon Europe, I see many areas of multiple interest and multiple benefit we have right now. Both programs propose an ambitious solution to our major social and environmental change. In particular, again, I want to emphasize the impact on society of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is an urgent challenge that we can tackle together. So let me conclude by expressing how pleased I am to be involved in the Moonshot program, and we can collaborate with each other. And I hope we can have a beautiful future together. Thank you very much for attention.
Thank you very much, Hamaguchi-sensei. So that was great. And indeed, as Vice Minister Akaishi also said in the beginning, the youth is our future, and the youth has to be in the center, and they have disruptive ideas. We shall leave much floor for the youth in the future. So thank you very much. So our third speaker in this part of the session is Amanda Eichel. Now we move to Europe. So Amanda Eichel is Executive Director for the Global Covenant of Mayors. So dear Amanda, do you have examples from missions innovations that show common challenges and how they can be tackled in concrete terms?
Yes, thank you. And thank you to the European Commission for hosting these research and innovation days, and also to the government of Japan for the opportunity to share ideas critical to advancing climate ambition. I am pleased to represent the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy climate action. But today we can't really talk about climate change without recognizing the events over the past year. They have shown not only how vulnerable our communities are to dramatic shocks, but also the global nature of our society. Our economic, environmental, and social systems are intricately connected, and the solutions to the crises we face must be as well. As all parts of the globe respond to and adapt to COVID-19, countries and cities must jointly seize the opportunity to build back a cleaner, more resilient, sustainable, and fair world. And that's why I'm so pleased to be working with the Global Covenant of Mayors and our leadership to help respond to these urgent challenges. Our initiative is co-chaired by European Commission Executive Vice President Frans Timmermans, who is championing the Horizon Europe as a mechanism to build strategies to achieve the European Green Deal, as well as three-term mayor to New York City, Mike Bloomberg, who through his philanthropy brings local leaders together to accelerate innovation and ensure better, longer lives for people around the globe. Further, our regionally representative mayoral-led board shares an equal commitment to this vision. But the Global Covenant is made up of a network of regional and national covenants who support the 10,000 cities we work with through technical support to advance their ambitious commitment towards implementation. Most relevant of these regional covenants today are the Regional Covenant in the EU and the National Covenant in Japan. The cities in these regions are working hard to advance tremendously ambitious strategies to align their climate ambition despite a global pandemic and a need for a more just and inclusive society. Through our global initiatives, we ensure that cities have common mechanisms to measure impact and track progress, while also working to mobilize resources to support this action. Resource mobilization is often shorthand for financial investment. And while this is critical, two other resource areas where we've identified significant gaps for cities are access to data and research and innovation. Our Innovate for Cities initiative was launched in 2018 with an aim to identify opportunities for co-generation of priorities for future city-focused research and innovation investment by governments, the private sector, academia, and city networks in our coalition. We have partnered closely with the European Commission in the development of this initiative, and we're also pleased to be a partner as of 2019 with Mission Innovation to engage with its 25 member governments, including the European Commission and Japan, equally interested in the opportunities to align supply and demand side innovation. It's fantastic that just yesterday, the Mission Innovation Ministerial agreed to enter a second phase, and I want to congratulate both the EU and Japan for their leadership in that effort. We are thrilled to see that with a stronger focus, potentially on cities, that these investments will really start to have an impact. The investment that we've heard about from our previous two speakers are desperately needed, as is the collaboration opportunities that they mentioned. In closing, I would just like to offer that the Global Covenant of Mayors stands ready to be your partners in realizing the vision that the EU and Japan present here today. The EU mission and Japanese government's Moonshot will help ensure that new innovations, both technological and social, will find a home in our communities, but also achieve the scale of transformation science demand. Cities, by their nature, breed innovation, and innovation breeds economic opportunity and growth. We congratulate you on this joint work together and look forward to being a partner. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Amanda. So that's a great offer for supporting the partnership between EU and Japan, and also for pointing out sustainability and data exchange is very crucial. So thank you again. And with this, I would like to move to our second part of our section, where we want to focus now on cases of joint mission. So mainly in the fields of soil health, agriculture, and food, which are key issues for any country. And as we all know, research is also increasing in these areas significantly. Our first speaker in Europe is Jean-François Zanna, member of the Mission Board, Soil Health and Food. So dear Jean-François, also good morning to you. So my question to you is, which are the most promising research fields and technologies in your area? where collaborating with Japan would greatly benefit both sides? And which concrete mechanisms for collaboration are suitable? Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Iris, and thank you for this great opportunity to share thoughts with the European Commission and the government of Japan on how we could further collaborate in the framework of the Moonshot and European missions. Let me introduce our goal for this mission. It is simply put to have healthy living soils. And we know that healthy living soils, they keep us and the world around us alive. So it's really important. Our mission targets that by 2030, at least 75% of all soils in each European member state are either healthy or show a significant measurable improvement. Mission activities, they will combine research and innovation, training and advice, as well as the co-creation of knowledge with stakeholders for soil management. And in addition, the mission will develop improved ways for monitoring the status of soils, mobilize investments, encourage changes in policies and behaviors, and ensure we do not export our soil degradation problems to other countries around the world. So we need to have actions that restore degraded soils, empowers the land managers to sustainably use the soil, and create the conditions to reward soil health. And in this way, we can have wide-reaching impacts on food, people, planet, and the climate in a context where soils are part of the solution for climate and food security. So indeed, there are some research and innovation activities, and we foresee fruitful collaboration between this mission and the Moonshot Goal 5 that enables sustainable global food supply by exploiting unused biological resources by 2050. This is a Moonshot goal. And we identify some scientific and technological challenges. Let me cite briefly 3 of those challenges. One of them is about remote sensing. We know that the remote sensing of soils, of agriculture and forestry is rapidly developing. We can combine several technologies like optical, radar, LiDAR, microwave, also with ground sensors to create a global digital twin of soils, and they are used by agriculture and forestry worldwide. Such a high-resolution twin would monitor the soil carbon stocks and the soil health, and would also support digital agriculture and digital forestry, showing which resources are unused and could be improved in their use. The second big technological challenge is about soil biodiversity. This is a huge but relatively untapped resource. Some of the microbes are promising sources for new therapeutic drugs. And by surveying all the genomes from soil samples, we could learn how to manage and optimize the functional diversity of soils that is the basis for regenerative agriculture, circular bioeconomy, and develop biotechnologies. And the third area is about waste. Today's waste are tomorrow's resources. Shifting to bio-based plastics, biomaterials, green chemistry, bioenergies will create a large flux of return to soils, return of organic matters that can be recycled by soils to support food production. We need to have cradle-to-grave traceability in order to check the quality of what is returned to soils. So there we could develop blockchain technologies and have these supply and recycling chains checked with those technologies, and this would unleash the potential of a circular bioeconomy for soil health and food. So how then could we enhance this strategic cooperation? The European Commission considers to launch in 2021 an international research consortium on soils that will initially focus on soil carbon in agriculture. This tool has already been experienced with success in other areas such as animal health and rare human genetic diseases. It is a flexible framework that can be used to guide strategic cooperation while developing portfolios of projects and programs, as well as exchanges of students and researchers. I must say I am fortunate to have launched such an exchange of researchers between NARO and my own institute, Innovate, in France. And I think that great progress can be made in such a way. working together step by step without forgetting our commitment to the high level of ambition that characterizes both the Moonshot Goal 5 and the mission on soil health and food. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jean-Francois. Indeed, healthy living soils are very important. We can't live in a healthy way without that. And thanks for pointing out the opportunities for collaboration. So our next speaker is Kazuhiro Chiba, President of Tokyo University of Agriculture and Technology, Program Director of Moonshot Goal number 5. So, dear Chiba Sensei, from your perspective, what are emergent needs that can be addressed together? How can joint efforts which make a difference be implemented? Please.
Yeah, thank you for your kind introduction. My name is Kazuhiro Chiba. I'm in charge of Moonshot Goal number 5 as a program director. This number 5 program is focusing on the creation of sustainable food supply industry on a global scale without waste by making full use of unknown and developed biological functions. This R&D agenda consists of 3 main themes: total control of soil environment, optimal use of biological function, and zero food loss and waste, to satisfy both food production and global environment conservation. For question 1, how to implement a joint effort that will make a difference? The answer is this R&D project maximizes the function of biological systems, comprehensively considers the ideal food supply and promote reforms. To that end, we must solve the ethical, legal, and social issue for ultimately eliminating food loss, as well as scientific efforts. In addition to public funding from application development in collaboration with industry and the rapid process for commercialization are essential for implementation in the international community. As announced in Japan on September 18th, 10 candidates were selected from all 37 applicants as project managers for Moonshot's 5th program. Among them, 4 outstanding researchers were selected as main players. For better production, Drs. Osawa and Takeyama are nominated as the main players about crop breeding by using cyber physical systems and soil microbiome analysis and utilization, respectively. For better food consumption, Drs. Yura and Nakajima are nominated for the studies of use of insects such as crickets for new nutrient source and food cartridge development for preservation and processing, respectively. Other than these 6 feasibility study players have been selected. And for question 2, what are emergent needs that can be addressed together? The answer is, first of all, it will be necessary to clarify the common issues facing the EU and Japan and expand the co-funding mechanism on this. In this regard, I think that, for example, improving the functions of the soil itself is clearly a very important issue. It has an extremely complex microbiome system, and relationships with various crops are essential. There is no doubt that obtaining important guidelines for maximizing the function of soils around the world is one of the indispensable parts of sustainable social construction. We are confident that a cooperation with Europe based on this issue will be a great step forward for each other at the global level. In addition, we must find a way to firmly establish itself in the world while considering the social and cultural background. For question 3, which concrete steps can follow in the short term and or middle term future to implement the joint effort? The answer is, I think first of all, webinars and workshops should be held regularly to clarify common issues and strengthen strategies in R&D. We strongly desire international research and business collaboration. Currently, there is a major shift in values, including industry world regarding ESG investment and the achieving of SDGs worldwide. Our effort must move quickly toward realization and implementation, involving many people. Finally, I'm really excited to start this activity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chiba-sensei. So it's great to hear that you and Jean-François Susanna both see healthy living soils as the main issue where you can collaborate. So thank you very much to all speakers. So now I see a lot of questions popping up, but we only have I would say 2 or 3 minutes left for our Q&A session, which is unfortunate. But I see many questions concerning the issues like what are the next concrete steps that should be followed. So I would like to direct again to Europe, Director General Paquet. I hope you're still with us. I was told so.
Yeah, I am here.
Could you answer the next concrete step in these times, especially in these virtual times? Now it seems we got used to it and can also discuss in these platforms.
No, I think the time is absolutely ideal, given that the moonshot missions are now well advanced, and there is a lot which is happening, as was explained this morning. On our side, the Horizon mission were handed over to the Commissioner yesterday, day before yesterday, as I said. We are now working in the next few weeks inside the Commission to identify exactly how we will organize ourselves to deliver the recommendations of the mission boards, which were discussed this morning. And that means that at the latest, at the end of the year, we will have a game plan for the implementation. So the period until the end of the year, and of course thereafter, but also until the end of the year, I think would be quite ideal for more in-depth discussion on the 5 areas, or at least some of the 5 areas, depending on possibilities also on the side of Japan, so that we can then include in our own roadmaps this international dimension and possibly some very concrete steps which we could take with Japan. So I think the teams in our delegation and in my team here in Brussels should really engage jointly with mission board members, which are available and interested, with Japanese counterparts, and try to work out concrete points of interaction for joint delivery.
Okay, thank you very much, Director Paquet. So I see Vice Minister Akaishi nodding his head, so I think you're also on the same track, it looks like.
Okay, thank you very much, Paquet-san. I totally concur with you about the procedure. Seems, how can I say, a little bit proud for us to be a little bit advanced in terms of the European Union. So we are looking very much forward to having your agenda by the end of this year, and then we will make a really, really concrete step. As you know, Chiba-san presented, we are ready to make a good cooperation, very concrete cooperation. So let's continue our discussion. Thank you.
So great, wonderful closing remarks from my side. So thank you very much. So although we had only 45 minutes time, I think our session showed us once more how important it is to enhance the collaborations between Japan and the EU. And furthermore, it clearly showed us that it's possible, especially with the final words from Europe and from Japan. So many thanks to all speakers for their wonderful contributions. Many thanks to our audience. And let's work together as much as we can and enjoy moving on or around the same orbit to jointly find solutions for the most pressing challenges and face today. So with this, thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.